Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CRM Analytics video session 242. So basically in today's video, we will actually try to do a few more derived fields in SAQL. We will create a few more derived fields and we will see how that is done in SAQL. We have already done the creation of derived fields in the recipe section. So you can of course watch those videos. I will take the reference of that and I will basically create a few of them in SQL. This is just to make you aware of how we actually create derived fields in SQL. This is more like a practice session for you where you can actually know how you can use SQL and create a few derived fields when the necessity arises. Okay. So firstly, let me open the recipe section, of course. So I will go to the Analytics Studio. We'll go to Data Manager, Manage Data Flow, Data Flow and Recipe. Now here, I will just open this particular session, the free session 11, where we created a few of the derived fields when we were learning the recipe section. What I will also doing is basically I will open the data set as well. Now, if you see over here, so we already have done all this, creation of derived fields in our previous session. This one also something which I explained to you in the last session as well. Let me jump straight to this. For example, let's say we have this something called as case when contains name test, then yes, else no. Okay. So through this, we get to know whether there's a test record examples format, which means if the name contains test, we are going to say yes, else we are going to say no. And that was something which we done on the recipe. We will try to replicate this on the SQL side right now. Fine. So I hope you already know this. Like if the name contains this word called test, it will show as yes. So for example, everywhere it is showing no right now, but somewhere it has to show yes. Let me check. Or maybe if I do the filtering, we'll be able to see the records. Anyways, there were less records. But anyways, if the name contains that word, no, test, basically it will show it as yes. For example, here, if you somehow have this word test, it will show you as yes. Okay. So now let's try to do this on the SQL side. So what I will do is I will copy this thing. And over here, I think I already opened that particular part. I've opened the list. Straight away, I will go to values table over here. Okay. And I don't need all this many fields. What I will do is I will delete a few of them from here. And what I will do is I will just paste that part over here. Okay. But here in a SQL, you will not have this kind of functions. Okay. Contains. But what we can write is something like case when name. So we need to modify this a bit, like here we can write test percentage test, then yes, else no, and we can write that particular field which we have mentioned. So here it is, the field name is test record example. Okay. So I can just map it over here. Okay, this yes will be in double quotation, of course. And this no also will be in double quotation. So these are some of the changes which we need to make for sure. Yeah, so this is the complete list. Like here, we can also see that particular name where it contains test record. So what I can do is like here, maybe I can write q equal to Or let me just search if we have any this if we have any such opportunity or not. So let's say if I go for test, or let me directly search in the export. So here we can actually check if it has that word called test. We can also write that where condition. So for example, if you see like this is the one, okay. So like test of 2 and test of 1. So maybe I can just write it as test of 1, okay, something like that. So for example, if I write a filter, you will see it is coming as yes in that case. So let's say I write. Yeah. So here to show me, yes, I just wanted to see a few of the records, which is yes. So it is saying q equal to filter q by name, it will be double equal to fine. Over here, it will be double equal to. Make sure the name identifier exists. So I think, as you can see, it is showing yes. Okay. So account q dot account, it doesn't have an account ID. Like here, it should be ID. Fine. It doesn't have an account ID, but this is basically showing us here. So maybe if I write the ID over here, that will be more helpful. So just write ID. Here also the same thing. Okay. ID. Yeah. But anyways, this was the thing. And always remember by double hyphen, you can always comment that line out. So then it will show me all the records now. What I will do is I will very quickly save it as derived fields in SAQL. Okay. And let me just share it in my SAQL app. Cool. And over here only I can continue for others as well. Okay. So as I mentioned, like you had the function contains here, I have to write in this manner in SAQL. Uh, and then we will see like what else can be done. So here, clicking on cancel. Then, for example, if you want to write this particular thing in SQL, we can also write that part. So what I will do is I will again copy this one. I will just, put it over here itself. And maybe I will just press an enter. And here, what I'm going to write is case when this is fine, then low. Okay. When expected revenue less than equal to. So here I have to write less than equal to instead of between. Okay. So I will write more than equal to and, and you can write expected revenue less than equal to 2000, then medium, else it will be high end. And of course I can write the field name over here. Okay, whatever is the field name. So let me check what is the field name. So for this one, the field name is this. So maybe I can just map it as this one, as, okay. And here, of course, whatever the value is there in SQL, that always will be in double quotation. These are some of the minor things which we definitely need to remember. And as you get more used to this tool, you will actually anyhow will be able to memorize this part. Okay. Yeah, I think right now it makes sense to me. Let me run the query and see in case of any error comes up or not. Yeah, so I think this is coming up properly fine. We can also like keep the expected revenue as well to see whether it is matching or not. Fine for sure. So here, and let me just give it in single quotes. That's fine. Okay. So as you can see, like if it is more than equal to less than 10,000, here it is less than 10,000. And if it is like exceeding 20,000, it's coming as high. Okay, which is definitely correct. And then we will check a few more as well. What are the few others derived fields which can I will do this in a separate session for this one. but let's see for some. You can go for coalesce as well. Like if you want to do a coalesce, you can just write coalesce. That is fine. So for example, let's take this example. Like, here it's saying, like if it is starting with the lower type, then we are going to make it as business type, else it will be non-business type, something which we have done when we were learning the recipe section. You can just watch that section in case you are not aware like what all these things are doing. I will highly recommend you to check that part. Okay, so you have this something called as type over here, as you can see. Yeah, this type. So if it contains this type, like if the word type is there, then it's going to show us as business type. Okay, so that is something which will look like if this word type contains this business. As you can see, this business is over here. So it can be in the front, can be at the rear end. So like new business, existing business, or it can start with business as well. Then it's going to show me business type. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will copy this part and I will just make the necessary changes where it's required. Okay, so just to ensure we can see it properly, we are going to do it in the next line. So case when here, of course, you have to remember it's the thing which we have to write, it starts with. Okay, so it starts underscore with. Okay, that's the function which we have in SAQL. Fine. And similarly over here also, so it will be ends underscore with. Okay, ends underscore with. Fine. And everything else is fine. Here it will be in double quotation, of course, then business type. And here also it will be in double quotes. Else non-business type. And I'm going to write NS in single quotes. I can mention this name, whatever is coming up over here. So let's say it is type classification. Okay. So case when it will be starts starts underscore with and ends underscore with. Now it making sense. Now let's run this once. Make sure business. Okay, this business, it has to be in double quotes, I guess. And here also it will be in double quotes. Now let's run this and see. So as you can see, this ran successfully. Here, of course, we can also bring the type over here so that we can cross check if it really showing the proper values or not. So here I will write type as type. Okay. Right. So as you can see, this is coming up properly, like it contains the business here also. If you see, I just want the starting. So here, although it is written new business, but what was the criteria? The criteria was that it has to start with business as well as end with business. This is not meeting the criteria. That's why it's a non-business type. Okay. Similarly, in existing business ending with business, that's why it's written as business type. Okay. Now this business can be like the B can be capital or it can be completely lowercase. It doesn't matter. But what I'm doing is I'm just converting that. Okay. So I'm converting this type to lower and I'm just mentioning it as business over here. Fine. I could have just written this the way as it is, then I shouldn't have written this lower type and all. Okay, I could have written type and I could have mentioned this word business. That also would have worked out for me. But yeah, this is about the creation of derived fields in SQL. Just wanted to help you to practice a bit more. In this way, you can practice like whatever derived fields we created on recipes, you can just try to do that on the SQL side. Just there will be minor change, like example starts with, we write as starts underscore with. Similarly, some values which you put in single quotes, you have to put in double quotes. Okay. So yeah, that's it about this video. And yeah, let's meet very soon in our